Shalom Aleichem, and let us learn a Sikha together, the Sikha of Shabbos Parshas Bechukosai, Tafshin Chaf Hey, which is printed as Likkutei Sichos Sikha Aleph of Parshas Bechukosai. And in the Sikha, the Rebbe is explaining in Bechukosai Telechu, it's at the beginning of the Parsha, Yachel Zeh Kiyum HaMitzvahs, you would think that Bechukosai refers to Kiyum HaMitzvahs, but when it says V'etzvosai Tishmeilu, you already know Kiyum HaMitzvahs. So what's Bechukosai Telechu? Shetiyu Amelim B'Torah. And then what's V'etzvosai Tishmeilu? Have Amelim B'Torah al menas, for the sake of Lishmar L'Kayim. Like it says, L'madet HaMoisam U'Shmartam L'Asaisam. That because Talmud Torah is B'chlal HaMitzvahs, therefore you need Bechukosai Telechu. Because Talmud Torah is part of the mitzvahs, it must mean that Bechukosai Telechu is going in another detail, and that is Amelim B'Torah. And because the pasuk says Bechukosai Telechu dem mitzvosai tishmeilu, then you must say that the Amal B'Torah has to be Almanas Lishmar L'Kayim. Now, when the Rebbe originally said this Sikha, the Rebbe went into an entire conversation about this idea of the necessity of Lishmar L'Kayim. I want to quote the Rebbe's words. The Rebbe says, I want to lahoid, bring up the words of the Rebbe the Shver, that in every haskalah, even something that's absolutely abstract, in every haskalah, you need to have a bechein. And without the bechein, it's not haskalah. Like it says, Ein chacham kibala nisayin. There's no wise person like a person that has experience. What does that mean? That dafka, when the haskalah comes to nisayin, that's the real chachma. Because that, the nisayin truthifies, there's no word like that, shema'amis, it makes true the haskalah. And the Fiqh Rebbe explains that this is not only when the haskalah has some relationship with avodah b'poil, but even haskalah l'chayda has no relationship with avodah b'poil, needs to have a bechein. And over here we see that the words of our Rebbe are not just gute Werte, from based on what we explained in the Sikha. And you have to listen and accept them, even if they don't have a makkah. Because everything, it's like every other thing in Pnimiyas HaTorah. The truth is it has a makkah. And over here it has a makkah even in Pshat Shabbat, that even Amal Shabbat, which is not connected to Yediyas HaMaisa Sheyasun, even the effort of Torah has to be Almanas Lishmar L'Kayim. And this is also within the category of what it says in the Gemara and the Yavamis, that if somebody says while they're learning Ein li ela Torah, but I don't want the Maisa B'Payil, Afilu Torah, they don't have the Torah. Because everything, even during learning, you have to have the Torah Gemilas Chasadim, Lilmoid Almanas Lishmar L'Kayim. More so. Just like Bechukosai Telechu is connected to Mitzvosai Tishmeilu, that the limud has to be Lishmar L'Kayim, so too the Mitzvosai Tishmeilu is connected to Bechukosai Telechu. That you have to have a hadavan, you have to work in Torah. Because even though the inyan of Tzavsa V'chibur with Hashem happens through mitzvahs, but nevertheless it's not enough to do the mitzvahs from Kabbalah's Olam Asidus Nefesh, but you also have to have a sagam. From the fact that the Torah first puts the words Bechukosai Telechu, which is Amelim, and then Mitzvosai Tishmeilu. In other words, that there's a necessity, even when you learn Torah, that there should be a tzafsa v'chibur through mitzvahs. So in other words, the tzafsa v'chibur, the connection that happens through mitzvahs, needs the limit of Torah as well. It's not just Mesiras Nefesh. So basically, the Amal B'Torah needs the Maisa B'Poil, and the Maisa B'Poil needs the Amal B'Torah. Says the Rebbe, because even though tzavsa v'chibur happens through the mitzvahs, but the mere fact that you're able to grab atzmus through mitzvahs, that's revealed through Torah. So in other words, you find it out through Torah and you reveal it through Torah. And the Rebbe then says, just like the Milas Apshitus of Anoshim Pshutim, we know that was revealed to the Baal Shem Tov and then the Alter Rebbe. And what does the Fiqh Rebbe say about it? That the Baal Shem Tov showed the Maila that Anoshim Pshutim have. But how you can get to that Maila, the Alter Rebbe showed to Torah's Chabad. In other words, Torah shows you the Maila of Pshitus, the Maila of a mitzvah. And then the Rebbe says, Dafka, through this oifen of Bechukosai Telechu, it's Mitzvah Tishmeru, that's how you get all the brachas. Now, in general, the Sikha has so many interesting, fascinating footnotes about Amol Torah, etc. I find especially in Ois Hey, there's a lot of Nekudas that ever goes into the whole idea of Shevis Noach, is it a tzivui, etc. And interesting, remember in the Sikha the Rebbe said that it's impossible that tzivui before Matan Torah, mitzvah before Matan Torah could be called tzivui because there was no tzivui. And in footnote 22, the Rebbe says, and even based on the Chassidish pshat, that what is mitzvah tzavsa v'chibur, it's the same point. You cannot say that there was a tzavsa v'chibur before Matan Torah, like after Matan Torah, just like you can't say there was a tzivui, because the tzivui enables the connection. And Elyonim Yodel Tachtonim and Elyon and Elyonim Lo Yodel Lamata, etc. So you weren't able to have the tzavsa v'chibur of Nivra and Baile. And therefore, the Rebbe says that explains, according to Chassidus, why Rashi and Pasha Solis didn't say Mitzvosai, Zayim Mitzvos Bnei Noach, which were Taka commanded then, there was already the Tzivui, because there wasn't the Tzafsa, which is just an interesting anecdote on all the things we have been discussing.